If not, you can shout in and start beefing. You know, I'm just waiting for the beef, to be honest. Just kidding. What is up, YouTube? Chaz here, and welcome to the Prediction Princess series. I'm your host, and I will be welcoming 3 guests today. Quick introduction, starting off with Joo. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Joo-Ho Ahn. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player from Germany. I'm currently in the team Luxury Gaming. My last top was top 8 in YCS Vancouver. My favorite card is Labyrinth's Dovey Torby.
Nice. Thank you so much, Joo. And next we have Ale.
Hello guys, I'm Alessandro Abbate. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player from Switzerland. I play for Team Oni, and my favorite card is the Dark Magician because it was my first Yu-Gi-Oh card ever.
And next we have Firat.
Hey guys, I'm also a player from Switzerland. My name is Firat Karatas, and I'm playing at Team G. My last top was at the European top 32, and my favorite card is Bishop Magdamut. Yeah, thanks, mommy.
Nice. So, before we start, I will do a quick explanation how Prediction Princess series works. See you right back. In this series, the guests will try to predict the top card ratio of an upcoming YCS or any other major Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. In the first part, they will brainstorm and list a few decks which they think have a chance to top the event. During the second part, they will fill out the pie. They have to predict the deck, player count, and of course which order. And on the final part, they will guess which deck will win the event. The winner has a chance to win a display. Will be split among identical prediction. Okay, let's start off with Ale. Give me 3 archetypes you think that will get into the top cut.
I will be boring and just say Unchained, Pearly and Fluanders because they're popular right now and they didn't get any hit, so yeah.
Those 3 decks, alright. Okay, so the first 3 we got here is Unchained, Pearly and Fluanders. Firat, you want to go second and tell us about your 3 archetypes you want to add to the list?
Yeah, sure. While they aren't that popular like Alessandro's 3 archetypes, I think, in my opinion, Telements that got a little, I should say, more popular with cash gone. So I think they have a good chance to top. The other deck is Branded. It's still a fan favorite deck from a lot of players. And I think probably more the Chimera version is gonna get top cut. And the third one, which I know isn't that popular, but it always wins or tops an event in the European part of the TCG. It's Rika. So those are my 3 archetypes.
Oh yeah, Rika. Yeah, that's an interesting one. That is for sure. It won the Euros twice already in a row, so that is very fair. And plus, they didn't get hit in the ban list, so that's a very fair point. All right, one moment. So Firat's addition would be Tier, Rika, and Branded with the Chimera version. Interesting. And lastly, we have Joo. What is your opinion is going to be the 3 archetypes from your side?
If I have to pick other decks, I think the decks that would likely top Dortmund would be, for one side, Drangling. I think that deck's still really good. It's also another fan favorite, and it has a pretty good matchup against Unchained and like Telement. Also decent one against Branded variants. Then there's also, I think Labyrinth is still fine, especially with Rise Heart being gone. It has one less matchup to really worry about, and Rescue is also probably a solid contender for the following format.
Yeah. Alright, so far we have Unchained, Pearly, Flu, Rika, Tier, Branded with the Chimera version, D-Link, Lab, and Rescue Ace. Do you guys want to add anything else? Or better said, why didn't you mention Runic though? Like any Runic variant?
I think the Runic version or like Runic versions have a bit of a hard matchup against Pearly right now. So yeah, that could be a bit of a problem, but still some could sneak up into the top cut. So yeah.
Any other opinion on Runic? Because it's interesting. Runic's still full power, but now it kind of falls off for some reason.
Aside from Pearly, it also has a pretty hard time against Blue, since all the Runic spells just replenish their banished birds. Like going second especially is also really hard against Unchained, since all the disruptions really hindered the plays. Against Tier, they have all the shufflers that stop all the Runics, so they can't really get into the draws. And even decks like Rika is also really hard. So they side the one plant monster that only lets them activate one spell trap that turn. Rose Whip it is, I think.
Oh, that's an interesting take. So basically, Arise Heart is gone. Runic is supposed to get stronger thanks to that, but because other decks get a lot more stronger, it kind of falls off a little Runic because the other decks are like the counter now for Runic. Or at least some decks have like a better matchup against Runic, since their terrible matchup was Arise Heart. Do you guys want to add any other archetypes, or maybe argue if you want to remove any archetypes from this list? Otherwise, we would start with a pie chart. Okay then, let's go ahead. As you can see, we have a beautiful pie chart right here. We still don't have the mentioned archetypes set, of course, so we have to fill out those pieces or slices with our opinion. Let's start off with putting some top cuts in there. Who wants to start?
I think Unchained is still pretty much the strongest deck in the format. It's probably going to be the most represented deck in top cut. And aside from that, I could really see Dragon Link being like the second or third most represented deck. So I could see Unchained being like a third of top cut, and Dragon Link having a bit less, like maybe 10 spots in top 64. And picking a third deck is a bit harder, since I at least think that a lot of the following decks are like either around the same power level, or like the consistency keeps a bit short, or the cards that are going to get tech stop them so much that they wouldn't see that much success. So if I had to pick one deck, it might be either Fluke or Purely, although I could see Purely doing better in the long run.
So you say Unchained at first and Purely would be secondly, or on par with Dragon Link?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start off first with Unchained. You said like around 20-ish would be Unchained, like 30%?
Yeah.
Alright, let us fill that out. One moment. Okay, so we have Unchained at the top spot at 20 players, 31%. Does everybody else agree on that?
I agree with Unchained being the majority in the top cut, personally, because I think it's a great deck. You have so many plays and you can play so good around disruption, so I think it will be the #1 deck in the top cut.
Same page as well, Firat?
Yeah, I agree on that.
Okay. No beefing? Come on, like a little bit. Nah, it's fair, it's fair. Unchained, I mean, it's the most represented as well in the last few YCSs, so it's a very fair opinion on that part. Alright, next, Firat, do you want to add your slice on which one do you think will be second most?
Yeah, sure. I don't know about the second most, but because of Unchained being the most represented deck, I think Lu is a very good matchup against that. So not probably going to be the second or third most represented, but I can see like 8 spots, something like that.
Yeah.
Being top cut of the 64 being Flu players, just because they can still play Shifter. It's such a busting, and they have very good matchup against like Runic decks and Unchained. And the Harpy Trap is still legal, and it's such a broken card. But yeah, it's still not gonna be like second most represented, but yeah, probably like the fourth. So I'm gonna go with 8 spots. Like, yeah.
Ale, do you want to add your take? Which slice you want to add to the pizza?
Yeah, of course. My take is already online. Win Koribo for second most representative deck. No, I'm kidding. I think personally, for the second and third most played decks in the top cut, it would be Purely and Dragon Link. You can argue for both decks, but I think like maybe 14 players in the top 64 will have a Purely deck, and around 10 to 12 will have a Dragon Link. Because like Purely can still build such a huge board, it can PK so easily, and yeah.
Alright, okay, let me add that. So I already got an opinion as well from Ju, so about Dragon Link. You can add that at the third spot, so Purely second. Okay, it is looking so much better now, the pie chart. Still have 12 spots open. I'd say anything below 4 would be just others. Keep it at that. You could also just leave it like this, you know. So 12 spots being like others. Do you all agree with the Dragon Link part and with the Purely part? Like, is there anything else you would like to change on the ratios? Just shout in if you want to change anything. I think Ju, you mentioned Dragon Link at 10. Is that fine for you? Is it fine for the others? Give me a thumbs up. If not, you can shout in and start beefing. You know, I'm just waiting for the beef, to be honest. Just kidding. As for the last 12, the 19%, we can keep it at other, but it would be interesting which decks you think will sneak in at those list of others. Or maybe there's an open spot for maybe at least 4, 5, 6 for a certain deck. Does anybody want to add anything else?
I would like to add Labyrinth because it's such a good floodgate deck, and yeah, you can play Skill Drain, you can play so many traps, you can play Dimension Barrier, you can even search it in the first turn. So personally would say around 4 players will have the Labyrinth in the top cut, and for the remaining 8 maybe like 2 Rikas, a Rescue Ace, and yeah, maybe even a Chimera deck.
Even a Chimera deck. What are the others' opinion? What do you think will sneak in? I can add the Labyrinth on the list. Let's go with Firat. What do you think will sneak in?
Well, most part I agree with Dali. I mean, I also think that Labyrinth is gonna be like still quite a bit of players who gonna top, and those decks that can sneak in, as I mentioned earlier, Rika for sure. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's gonna win again something here in Europe. And also mentioned earlier is Tearland. At least one is gonna top with Tearland because it's such a strong deck against Unchained. It has such a good matchup, and yeah, the 2 cards are just too insane. And yeah, probably like that one Rescue Ace, one Runic, I don't know, just one random deck, maybe even Sprite if Think Pam is gonna be there. So yeah.
Thank you for your opinion. Ju, do you think any other deck could sneak in the others, or maybe any other deck might perform at 4 players at least?
I could definitely see like one Runic, I guess, and there's like the other contenders, like most other contenders like Branded, Runic, or Case. I could see each of them getting about 1 spot in top cut.
Okay, interesting. Does this pie chart look good to you? Is this the realistic top 64 for you guys for YCS Dortmund? Do you all agree on this? Give me a thumbs up if yes.
Yeah, I do.
Just remember,
I agree.
Nice. Just remember, if you fail miserably with your prediction, people are gonna hunt you. Just kidding. But it would be interesting for all the viewers out there. Check out this prediction. Let me know your opinion. What do you think will be the most represented? Is it gonna be Unchained? Is Pearly correct on the 2nd spot? And so on. And moving on to the next step, where you can win a display. Let's go. Oh, you guys ready?
Yep.
Alright, as you can see, they're all ready to win that one display. 3, 2, 1.
Huh?
Okay, just kidding. I'm just joking. But so we got 2 Unchained and 1 Pearly. Very fair. So let's see which deck is going to win the YCS and which of you are going to split a display or win 1 display or win no display at all. Hey, thank you all for coming tonight and see you at the YCS Dortmund. And have a nice evening, guys.